What's going on, everyone? This is your host, Ajay from Off the Hook with Ajay. You're tuned into another episode. I got a very special guest here today, my good friend, boxing manager, Sam Contreras. Man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great.
So you're actually in your gym right now, right?
Actually, came over to Jerry Ortiz gym. We had some sparring up here, so
Okay.
people know me. They know I travel a lot, so.
That's true. That's true, man. So let us know, how did you get started with boxing?
Well, you know what? I started training. I used to train at the Old Resurrection gym, the Oscar De La Hoya gym, Old Resurrection known as.
Okay.
And then, I had my son a few years later. He started training, and then I started working with him. And that's how I started getting involved a little bit with him. I think that was one of in the training part, right? And then the management part, I started managing Cesar Diaz, where, a lot of people know he passed away. So we started training Caesar, and then I started helping him on the management. I actually started managing him with Joel Diaz. I'm very great friends with Antonio Diaz.
Right.
And, we got connected. We have a very good relationship. And that's how we started. We started managing Caesar. And then, another fighter came by, and another one. So now we're all in.
And my apologies. I meant to also say, boxing trainer as well.
No worries.
Yeah.
Training wise, I train my son, Joel Diaz Jr. from Palmdale, Kevin Anton from Palmdale. And
huge shout outs to them too.
That's pretty much it. So that's why only a few people know I train.
Right. Now, I've been to your gym a couple of times, and I'll be honest with you, the vibe in there, just the way it looks, everything, man, is awesome. Awesome. The way that you have it set up, it's great. I'm not going to give too many details, but the way you have it set up, it's awesome. I really do love it, man. And I got to go back soon.
You have to.
Yeah. So, what's next for you? What's next?
You know what? Right now, we're going to announce Joel Diaz fight. We're back August 20th. And then, if everything goes well, we have a very, big announcement after that for him. I think we might be back in September with him, but hopefully we're back August 20th, and I think it's in San Diego. So
San Diego, can you
more than welcome. You're invited.
Is it going to be televised? Any more details?
We're working with a promoter right now.
Okay.
That's for this card only. Joel's actually already under a promotional contract. So we're gonna go ahead and have like a little, tune-up fight, and then hopefully we have a big announcement right after that one.
Now, who all do you have in your camp? Like as far as that you manage?
Well, I manage Rudy Garcia as well.
Okay.
Me and his father go way back. Great friend. He's been with me for the past 2 years, 2 or 3 years. With the pandemic, everything kind of slowed us down.
Okay.
Prior to the pandemic, he had a fight at I think he was gonna fight at the Sugar Ray Leonard show under Golden Boy banner again. But everything that year got canceled, so we're getting back to our grind little by little. Joel Diaz Jr., right? A lot of people confuse him with Joel Diaz from
the trainer.
The
trainer.
Yeah, no. So Joel Diaz Jr. from Palmdale, he fought Regis, and it was a short night for him that day. I seen something in him. He has changed a lot. A lot of people that have recently seen him have seen that he's done a great improvement. Usually at that age, the youngsters start putting hands on you, at least in sparring, right? Of course, they have the pro experience, but he's been doing pretty good, man. Joel's a solid fighter. He's a very strong fighter. We had to work a lot in his defense. That's why we're patient. I don't like to throw fighters just out there. I don't. Nobody likes to get their own fighter hurt, right? But I'm a little bit more precautious on that. I really want to, until I feel comfortable. You're never 100%, right? But until I feel a little comfortable, I'm able to put him in. He's looking good. So, hopefully he could do his last run. I think he still has something in him.
No, I agree.
Strong son of a bitch, I'll tell you that.
So, You've had he's fought like three fights under your belt, right? Under you?
Actually, two.
Oh, it's two. This
Two.
is gonna be the third one on the 20th.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get back,
Okay.
just because I saw a lot of downfalls on him. His defense. I saw a lot of great things, and I saw a lot of bad things. I think one of the things that would put him in that danger zone is his control in the fight. Sometimes he lost control, and that's been one of the hardest things that we had to work on. But so far, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, and he seems focused. He seems focused, and he seems ready to just take it to that next level.
But you know what? He had to make a huge
whatever's
change.
going on is working.
Well, he had to make a huge change. Typically, the protocol is you're a pro. You're an amateur, right? You
Correct.
start going everywhere. You start sparring everybody. You start sparring the best. Then when majority of the fighters, when they're in a comfortable zone, they want sparring to come to them. They might be the little stars in certain places. So I told Joel, look, man, one of the only reasons that I don't train a lot of people is because I don't have the time. And the few I do help, they have to find a way how to make it on my time.
Correct.
That's one of the things that I thought it was going to be very difficult for him. But he adjusted. If on Mondays I need him in the morning, he's there in the morning. If I need him in the afternoon, he's in the afternoons. If I need him on Saturday morning, he's there on a Saturday morning. So he's a student, and I like that. My fighters don't call shots here. They could go call shots somewhere else, and the reason is it doesn't work. When you lose that control, that's it. If training is your full income, then I could understand. You have to take care of your income. But for me, boxing is not my income. Boxing is my hobby. I love to do it, and that's why I do it with passion, and that's why I have my own rules.
And I think that's what separates you from the rest, because I've been in a lot of gyms, and I see that the boxers are the ones that are basically calling the shots when they want to train, what they want to eat, what they want to do, when they're in camp. And I see sometimes for some it works and for some it doesn't, but the way that you're implementing your rules and the way that you want to go about your business, I got nothing but respect for that.
Appreciate it. Well, you know what? It's just like boxing and other things in life, run very similar. It's like having a kid, right?
Okay.
And if mom tells the kid you can't have that, but then dad tells them, okay, go ahead and do it, then the kid is going to do it. And he's always going to go to dad's side, right? But
Correct.
when he sees that there's always a straight line, they know it doesn't matter what way they turn, it's always that same answer, then they have to, adjust. And two is, it's for them, bro. It's for them. Sometimes as a trainer, yeah, you do feel comfortable. You do get credit, right? You do get credit, but at the end of the day, it's for them. It's for their own benefit. I also very strict with their weight. I don't like them being overweight. Just think it's a hit in your body. And then two things: it's gonna cost your purse a percentage. You're gonna be weak in a fight, and you might look like crap. And then my guys don't have a chance to be looking bad in TV. They have to look. They need to catch people's attention, right? So, and I think that's what a lot of fighters forget. Your manager could do a lot of things, could, work everything out, could work your deal, could get everything ready for you. But if you don't show up the day of the fight, it's on you,
And the thing about boxing, it's very short-lived. You're in one day and out the next. So you got to be 100% committed, 100% focused, because any slight mistake that you do in boxing, that could be the end of your career.
Correct. And, I'm glad you're touching that topic. People forget that boxing is a business, right? Just like a company.
Correct.
Same thing as a company. If you're the owner of the company, right, and this fighter or this employee produces money for you, you're going to keep them there. You're going to give them a raise. You're going to treat them well, right?
Right.
But if this employee shows up late, he misses a lot, he's not on dot, then two things. You don't really need to keep them in your company, right? And you get somebody else.
Correct.
I think with the whole stuff going on in boxing right now, I'm seeing a lot of fighters throwing, you know, at the promoters, going back and forth. I just feel that sometimes as managers and trainers, we have to be a little bit more honest, even as a promoter.
Oh, yeah.
Be honest to
Yeah.
fighters and tell them the reality. This is a business, and also people can be too sensitive. Fighters are a little too sensitive sometimes. If they see the promoters,
I agree with you.
yeah, if they see that the promoters are hanging out with this guy in a fight, oh, he hasn't done that with me. He don't like me, man. Cut the bullshit.
Hey, that's fucking true. That is true.
If you guys have the guts to get in that ring and fight, right? Put your life on risk. And you're being weak because a promoter is spending a little bit of time with this guy. Just like a company, bro. There's fighters, there's employees that might be going to lunch with management. Some don't.
Yeah.
Mind your own business. Keep working.
Yeah,
this is a business. Not everybody's gonna have that. But that doesn't mean they don't want you. That doesn't mean they don't like you. Maybe you guys haven't had that chance to meet or had that bond to share, right?
Correct.
That's why, stick to your lane. Stick to your lane. Keep working. I believe there's many ways of getting into boxing, right? There's different doors. There's fighters like Olympians. They win or they medal or they're just an Olympian and they have the door. That door that facilitates certain steps for them, right?
Right.
The fighters have to be going to Mexico to get a few fights, right?
Yeah.
But after they did their job, doors wide open, right? Example, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia debuted in Mexico, right? He had a few fights over there. There was at least 20, 30 other fighters here in SoCal that were doing the same thing. But the rest of those 25, 30 fighters weren't able to do what Ryan Garcia did. He was able to sell himself, Either he was acting foolish in TV, whatever. People liked him, people hate him. He's where he's at. Right. So there's fighters that started the same time as Ryan Garcia in the States, in a top rank card, in a Golden Boy card, in a PBC card.
Right.
While Ryan was out there in Mexico debuting. But guess what? This is a marathon, bro. It doesn't mean because you started first, you're going to finish first. So, it's a peace of mind. I like to be, honest with them and tell them, the whole boxing world's changing, Things are not back like in the 90s, 80s, even early 2000s. Social media is a big thing, It could help you, it could affect you. But you need to learn how to move yourself. You need to help, right? I've seen a lot of fighters where a few promoters have helped market them, but then the fighter doesn't help. Don't blame the promoter. If you couldn't show up on that fight where you had TV time and you couldn't take care of the job,
then
that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Come on. The reason I say this is a lot of people might say, and I've heard it looks like you work for the promoter. No, I like to be neutral. If the promoter screws up, I'll point it out.
Right.
Majority of the time is the fighter. So I tell the fighters, and at least I tell my fighters, give me the tools to fight for you, right? I don't want to go fight for you when I have no tools. When they could just say, well, look, he missed here, here, here. What do you want? You're lucky he's still signed, right? So I think if fighters will put more time on that, there'll be better results for them, right?
Do you think that social media has a big effect on boxers because of the fact that they're so worried on, did I get this? Like, how many views did I get on this video? Did I do this? Where it takes away some of their focus in the gym, where it's like the kids nowadays, right? Where they just want to be on their phones all day. I think it's like that with boxers as well, where they want to be on social media, TikTok and stuff like that, thinking that that's going to help them.
Well, I think it's a balance, right?
Okay.
It's a balance. I think that you have to be smart. Not everybody's going to be smart. Just like business. Not everybody's going to be super smart in business, or else there wouldn't be business for the smart people, right? Or the people that take risks. So, it's one of those things that you have to put some knowledge. You can't also let social media drain you, right? So, you need to understand the balance. Look, like Virgil Ortiz, right? Strong, great fighter. He's not too big on social media.
No,
I could
not
see
really
they
active
trying
like
to
that.
target him, but his way of being, he's more quiet, more more shy. He's opening up a little. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
He's a great fighter, but he's doing actually what's attracting people on him is that his fights. He's aggressive. He's a little beast. So some fighters might get more his fan base because, like Ryan, I'm not saying Ryan's not great. Ryan's great, trust me. But he got majority of his fans through social media. I feel Virgil's getting more of his fans when he fights. He's super aggressive, great fighter.
He's gonna be fighting when he fights.
Ryan's doing both. So those are the things. But I mean, I've seen people that love to put shadow boxing and all these videos that you look super sharp, super fast. I mean, I think it's cool once in a while. But then
it's all right,
But then you have a fight there at Top Rank or at the Zone or at Golden Point, and then you're out there with a fighter that you should be knocking out in 2 or 3 rounds, on your first 2 or 3 fights, and you're going to a decision, and you're not looking impressive.
No.
So, what's the point?
I think it's the word that I'm looking for is clout. They're just looking for that clout for the moment, and they lose focus on a lot of the fights. And that's not everybody. I think there's only honestly, personally, a handful of fighters that put that time on social media and in the gym, and they get great results. Like you said, like with Ryan Garcia. I think there's only a handful of fighters that can do that. Some are trying to piggyback off of what Ryan did, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody can do that.
Well, if you notice, everybody that comes out with their own style usually make it, and everybody else wants to,
copycat.
Copy. I mean, you might get a few.
Right.
Just like Floyd, right? Floyd came out, great style for him. There's not another Floyd.
No.
We saw Adrian try to do it, doesn't work for him. So, it's just one of those things, right? It's just one of those things that, people need to try to stay focused on their own, come up with their own ideas, and take a risk, just like business, take a risk and see what it does.
No, definitely. I mean, I took a risk with this podcast. I've never done podcast.
I remember. Look, I see you everywhere now.
And exactly, and it's a blessing. I'm having fun. I really am.
But what happens too is that, look, it also has to do who you know. I mean, we're gonna cut the BS, right?
No, I agree.
It all takes for you to be with certain people. I know certain reporters that are cool with the reporters, and they can make somebody that's not that great of a fighter, make them into, whoa, who's this kid? He's fighting. There's that connection, which is great for the fighter.
Right.
Great for the fighter, but the moment he's put in that spotlight, he needs to show up, or else it just doesn't go nowhere. There's a lot of casual fans in social media that, they just don't follow boxing much. They don't know much about the ins and outs about boxing. So whatever they see, they buy, right? So it benefits the fighter, but then at the same time, you have to put yourself out there and show up.
I agree.
Because it does. I've seen a lot of fighters that, are very good. For example, I have Kevin. He's a very, very, we just, signed with Cameron. And
congratulations to Kevin as well for his victory.
Thanks. It was hard for him. He's a very quiet guy, 6'2", 6'2.5", 147 pounder, makes weight with no issues. But I'm being real. I know it's hard for a promoter to sell him. It's too tall. Who wants to fight a southpaw? I've offered myself to fight undefeated fighters with 7, 8, 9 fights. Kevin has 3 fights now, 4. Because I know what he has. But again, why you want to take a risk against a 6'2" lefty? Even the promoter, look at Fandora, very tall.
Yeah.
I mean, the weigh-ins are crazy funny, but the kid fights.
Yeah, he brawls. Yeah,
he shows up. Just imagine if he wouldn't show up, that would be it for him. But he shows up. He puts out shows. He goes out there and fight. And, people start believing that. I think that's the same route Kevin has to go. I think until we get into a certain rankings and we start beating whoever they put in front of us, then we'll go from there,
Okay, yeah, that's true. And your son, what's next for your son?
Um,
I've personally
there, there,
witnessed him
there's been
training
two,
at
there's been
your
two
gym.
offers.
Uh-huh.
There's been two offers, but you know what? Sam is 17. He's still he wants to try for the Olympics. I think the past 6 months it's the best Sam I've ever seen.
Mhm.
He's doing very well. Um, camp with Roman has helped him so much, but I think we might wait. I feel that COVID backed everything up. I don't see any rush of turning pro now, um, so we might wait. Sam has a few options.
And he's really
Uh,
young too, so you guys have
yeah,
nothing but time right now.
he's been doing good. He's been doing good, but I think he's gonna wait, and then we'll decide what route we're gonna take in the amateurs. He has lucky enough, he has 4 countries he could go try to represent and try to qualify for. So, we might be making that announcement soon.
Make it on here, Sam. Come on, don't do me like
Yeah,
that.
let's do it. It's one of the things it's
Yeah.
one of the things that I've told people. Like I remember you reached out, congratulate you on what you're doing great, and I started like that. I know a lot of great friends of mine, but maybe it's wrong. But I just want to do my own thing. Nothing personal. I don't like to use their names to try to put myself in there. I start meeting people, know me because who I am, and
Right.
I work with. I work with Ramon too, Canelo's brother,
Mhm.
and it goes back to talking, and if business wise, if things
Yeah.
work, if you both feel each other, then you start going from there.
Yeah,
Nothing has been.
I agree with you on that because like when it comes to like with me, um, like we said earlier, I took a risk, and now gracias a Dios that I'm moving up, right? I'm still a small dog, but day by day I'm getting, moving up,
Day by day.
day by day.
And and look, I would always remember that, bro. People that I do business with, that I work with, they know that if you're there with me since day one, you'll be there, bro.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
me. I
definitely.
don't jump. I don't. I don't like to kiss ass, bro. That's my thing. I don't. If we meet, we click. We're good.
Yeah.
I
No,
respect that.
and that's where I go with you.
I don't try to use people. I don't try to use reporters. I don't try to. I do my own. If a reporter comes, hey, cool. If they don't look at it, trust me. There's a few reporters that I reached out to,
Uh-huh.
Joel, certain things, and I saw no interest. Okay,
Right.
we keep walking, but I'll remember.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
remember, and
and honestly, since day one, you've always showed me love and respect, man. Like since day one, we've always reached out to each other, and it's always been solid since day one with me and you, and I
you know
respect.
what? I Bobby Lee, Brandon's Lee father. Um, I go way back with him.
Mhm.
Great guy, and me and him talk. Remember once he told me, Sam, if you're gonna be an asshole, be a full-time asshole.
Yeah.
Don't be a part-time asshole. So
Uh-huh.
meaning that be who you are and always be that person. But things are going well for us. There's a few projects in line. Uh, yeah, definitely. Sam's looking good. His future looks okay if he continues. Because as a father, I could say whatever I want, but if he stopped tomorrow, he might say, you know what, I don't want it,
Right.
and
Right.
that's it. That's it. So, you know,
No,
I just want to.
you're in a great position, man. You gotta the fighters that you got under your belt, that you're managing and training. You got a good stable, man, and it's always
Well,
good.
look, for example, I like to go against the odds. Right? Joe Diaz stopped because they told him he was done. He didn't mean nothing. And I could see, maybe you had to spend a lot of time with him. But for me, it would be a big accomplishment if I could take him to certain other steps, right?
Right.
What would be definitely a world title? I believe he can. There's a lot of
I
things we need to
agree.
work
I
on.
agree.
And one of the things I say is because he's a strong guy. He has crazy power. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people might see this one and say, "Okay, this guy's talking out on his ass." But at 135, somebody that has the power Joel has, it's very hard. The only problem is I feel he wasn't using it the right way, right? He was more like toe-to-toe type of fighter.
Right.
But I think he could make noise.
He's a big 135 too. He's stocky, like he's big.
He's a big, strong, solid 135. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people might think, okay, he has those 2 losses, he's been knocked out. But if we're able to turn that, right, it's a risk. But if we're able to turn that out, I think I would be very satisfied with that.
Oh yeah, and I can see that happening. Honestly, I mean that'd be great. Us coming from 661. I don't know, Valley, somebody from Palmdale.
There's no boxing. Come on, AV.
I know. Let's go. And that'd be awesome. Somebody from the AV really, really showing out. Putting on, and Joel has that.
You know what? He's a great kid. He's been put this. Okay, Joel's. He has 2 babies. He has a family.
Yeah.
He's taking that risk, bro. I mean, not only in the gym, the time, the work. He's taking that risk for another shot.
Right.
And he's same thing like I told him. The moment we get that shot, he has to execute. And if his family doesn't motivate him to do it, then nothing else will. So he has to, he has to, and he has to do it for his family, for himself. Put too many years in boxing, walk away without nothing, So, hopefully, and I have a very good confidence that he's going to become a world champion soon, within the next 2 years.
Yeah.